This is your WCIA3 forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
All right, good evening to you. Boy, it was a nice start to the day, but it ended on a kind of a colder, windier, and rainier note. You can see those showers now slowly pushing off here to the east. We're going to be done with the rain here tonight, but now comes the cold. We've got temperatures that are back down here into the low 50s. Even a few 40s starting to show up, 49 degrees in Springfield. And you can kind of see this colder air that's going to be coming in here from the north and west, and that's what we're going to see as we head into the day tomorrow. Take a look as we plan it hour by hour for you through the morning. Starting out in the mid-30s, we will see plenty of sunshine, but only topping out into the 40s. Highs. We'll talk more about how these temperatures really bounce back just in time for the weekend when we come back. WCIA3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA3 News.
A day on the water turned into a rescue. Why rescuing a kayaker was only half the battle. Plus, more people are getting vaccinated, but the state's not reopening soon. What other number is also creeping up?
And in a normal year, we'd be nearing the end of flu season. This year hardly came to be. Experts weigh in on the future of the flu.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA3 News at 10.
Luckily, there was a passerby that walked by and saw the boat capsize and her start swimming around.
And lucky for two kayakers, that person was able to call for help. Good evening, I'm Paul Chikina.
And I'm Jessica Coons. This rescue happened at Lake Charleston this afternoon. While one of the kayakers was able to get to safety, a dive team had to be called to get the other. WCIA3's Bryce Beament joins us now. And Bryce, you spoke with the Charleston Fire Department. This was a group effort.
Yes, it was. Charleston Fire and Police Departments and Lincoln Fire and Dive teams were there to rescue a girl whose kayak capsized in the lake. A mother and daughter were kayaking when it capsized and the daughter fell out. A bystander saw what happened and quickly called 911. The mother was able to get safely to shore, but her daughter was stuck in the middle of the lake with her life jacket on. Dive teams were able to get her out safely, but they say the cold water was an added risk to her safety. Charleston Fire Department say if you kayak, to always have a life jacket and bring a whistle as well.
You want to make sure that you have life vests. That's what this lady right here was. She's very fatigued, and she didn't have her life vest on. It might have been a recovery at that point.
He says if you fall in the water, remain calm, but try to yell for help. They say if you have a life vest on, you can lay on your back and slowly backstroke to shore. That will help preserve your energy. He does warn people that even though warmer temperatures are becoming more consistent, that the water is still very cold, which can be very dangerous if you fall in. Back to you.
Some good advice there. All right, Bryce, thank you. An Iowa State University student from Normal drowned this weekend after a crew boat capsized. 19-year-old Derek Nanny was with 4 other students when it happened. While 3 were able to swim to safety, Nanny and another crew member both drowned. That accident is under investigation.
One person was taken to the hospital after a crash in Macon County. It happened this afternoon near West Illinowick and North Beardsdale roads. Authorities say the driver lost control, ran off the road, hit a utility pole. They were seriously hurt. A mother in Hume is concerned about a damaged telephone pole right next to her house. She says winds from Thursday night's storm shifted the pole to dangerously lean over the home. Chandra Gerberding says she reached out to Frontier to fix it. They came out the next day and took photos, but she says that's the last she's heard from them. She just wants it fixed and got a hold of the mayor for more help.
They didn't follow through. Nothing's been done. It's Tuesday now, and I reached out to them to get involved.
It's leaning towards the house and towards our cars, and it's resting on the power lines, and it's liability for my kids to play outside.
EAD says an emergency locate order to replace the pole was issued late this afternoon, but the company hasn't given an ETA for when that work will be done.
People of all different backgrounds were in Champaign today to spread an important message: Stop Asian Hate. Dozens were outside downtown with signs spreading that message. In addition to a mass shooting in Georgia, police in New York are also investigating 2 different recent crimes against Asian Americans. One protester says people have blamed Asian Americans for the COVID-19 pandemic.
But we do have feelings, and our feelings, when feelings are hurt, it is time to speak up.
Protesters say they just want equity.
Employees at Eastern Illinois University hit the picket line today. They're calling for fair wages, predictable schedules, and no privatization of dining services. The group consists of frontline workers in building services, dining, and clerical and technical. They say they've spent 8 months negotiating with the university and claim the school is dragging its feet. The university says it hasn't delayed negotiations. There have been 26 since June. New 10 students at Muffley Elementary in Decatur will be remote learning until next Tuesday. The district says a staff member was in close contact to a confirmed COVID case. They decided to go virtual after doing contact tracing. Tomorrow was supposed to be a virtual learning day anyway. There's no school on Friday or Monday. Ballots in Urbana have a typo regarding the length of a term for school board members. However, election officials say it's unlikely to affect how people vote. The ballots say the 4 school board positions on the ballot are 4-year terms, but because of upcoming redistricting, those terms are for 2 years. County Clerk Aaron Ammons is posting signs in polling places about the term length and putting notices in vote-by-mail ballots.
Health officials are urging people to stay vigilant in the weeks ahead with the threat of a possible 4th surge of COVID-19. More restaurants are reopening for indoor dining as vaccination rates go up. But doctors are worried people could let their guard down. At Esquire in Champaign, manager Paul Higgins says his team is doing everything they can to stay open safely.
We're in the hospitality business. This is a place where we want people to be comfortable and happy, but at the same time, we got to keep people safe too.
Health officials in Champaign County say as long as you're with your family or fully vaccinated, eating indoors should be okay. Now, the state is trying to reach the bridge phase in reopening, but it can't yet because of the number of new hospitalizations. They've been climbing for 2 weeks. Almost 1,400 people are in the hospital. When Governor Pritzker announced the most recent reopening plan, Illinois was on pace to reach the bridge phase by early April. That would mean fewer restrictions. As of today, over 69% of the state's senior population have gotten at least 1 dose of the vaccine, but the state will not be entering the bridge phase until after those new hospitalizations drop.
Just because you get the vaccine doesn't mean that you won't get COVID. It's the severity of COVID that we're trying to prevent with the vaccination. And of course, with all the other steps that we've been talking about for the last year.
In order to fully move into that bridge phase, more than 70% of seniors need a dose of the vaccine. At least 20% of ICU beds need to be available, and the state cannot see an increase in new hospitalizations over a 28-day period. Hospitalizations aren't the only numbers going up. More than 2,400 new cases were announced today, and the positivity rate has also increased to 3.9%. Another 17 people in Illinois have died. More than 86,000 vaccinations were given yesterday, and the 7-day average for those is more than 105,000. More than 2.1 million people in the state are fully vaccinated.
While we've seen plenty of COVID cases this year, there's one thing we haven't.
I think what's really unusual is that there basically was no flu season last year.
It's been virtually non-existent. But what does it mean going forward? As you're about to hear, there are competing theories about what to expect in the future for the flu. Take a look at this map. It's data from the CDC, which tracks influenza cases across the country. As you can see, Illinois experienced minimal flu-like illness for the entire season thus far.
We thought from the mitigation efforts that we do for COVID-19, that might decrease the infection rate of influenza. So I think that's one answer, is that we're masking, we're social distancing.
So what could happen next?
But in talking to some of my colleagues who are virologists, they're also concerned that what this may lead to is that maybe some wild strain of influenza can come out because it's always fighting for survival.
That theory doesn't resonate with Chris Brook, an assistant professor of microbiology at the U of I.
To be honest, no one knows the answer because we've never seen anything like this. I think the idea that you would evolve a new variant that's more dangerous, that's not especially a concern. I mean, so influenza virus is always evolving.
But Wade, the deputy administrator of the Champaign-Urbana Public Health District, argues when regular strains of influenza are suppressed, there could be other strains coming in the future.
That is something that people who study influenza viruses are keeping a very close eye on.
Dr. Robert Healy, the chief quality officer at Carle Foundation Hospital, says the theory isn't something he's heard discussed.
If someone's exposed to influenza, they build up immunity to it. So if we have a year when we're not being exposed to it and we're not building up immunity, what could that mean? But I don't see that as creating a new variant.
Regardless of the uncertainty to come, Vade, Healy, and Brooke agree on at least one thing. Wearing a mask can have a huge effect on flu transmission.
When it is flu season, that people maybe are more, might consider wearing a mask in crowded spaces or being, maintaining a little bit more distance or avoiding really crowded indoor spaces.
And Brooke says that will not only save lives, but money too.
Economic costs associated with flu are, it's tens of billions of dollars every year in the U.S. that, as we've shown, is, it can be mitigated.
So take a look at this. It's from the CDC, which tracks flu-related deaths among kids. For the 3 previous flu seasons, the number of deaths has fluctuated between 100 and 200, peaking during the last flu season at 198. And your eyes do not deceive you. There has only been 1 pediatric death associated with the flu this season.
Music and beer are a popular combination where you can catch a festival dedicated to both.
Plus, the Illini are a quarter of the way through spring ball. What's standing out as a strength for the team?
Kevin, people are going to want to keep the winter jacket and the flip-flops ready.
2 things Jessica has on hand, probably as we...
In this building.
But it's not just that. It's 2 things that she wears at the same time.
That's also true.
I mean, this happens, okay? And it's probably going to happen the next few years. She'll be like, I'm not getting rid of the flip-flops. I'm going to wear my winter coat.
Never.
Wear my flip-flops, and it'll be just fine. You do that. Flooring America weather right next. Camera over the Capitol there. Hey, to each his own. Wear whatever you want. You got to deal with it. Outside, it is pretty calm. Let's recap today. 70s, flip-flop weather. Soon, 20s, winter weather. We'll talk about that coming up.